Hello and welcome. I hope that you're all doing well. In this video, we're going to take a look at lists in React. And we're going to take a look at ways that we can interact with lists of data, and specifically how React actually lets us loop through these lists in order to create dynamically created lists of data in our applications. So let's go over to the code and take a look. So right now I've just got like a really basic prop setup, and there's nothing really too special about this. I'm going to go ahead and delete out this header here and delete out the props. We don't need those for now. We'll also just go ahead and remove these here, just that way we have everything consistent. Now what we're going to do is we're going to define a list of products, and my goal is going to be to have a header that says products, and then I want to print each of the products inside of an unordered list. So let's go ahead and start off with the list. This list is going to work in the same way as your typical array of values in JavaScript, as we've sort of discussed in earlier sections. In this case, I have three different products. We have the laptop, the desktop, and the keyboard. So we're going to utilize those where we can. Now, the way that we actually return this data is going to be a little bit different from what we've done so far. I'm going to put this in brackets so that everything is grouped together into the return. And what we have to do is we have to start by creating what is called a fragment. Now you can see that it's automatically imported the fragment for me. This is a component of React. What a fragment is it's basically a way of grouping together multiple different tags in React. If you ever have one or more than one tag, you need to use a fragment to group them together. So what we're going to do is we're going to start by putting in a header tag. We'll have a nice h1 header that says products. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to print out each of the values inside of our list. I'm going to put it inside of an unordered list. The way we do that is we put the unordered list, so UL. And then what we have to do is we have to iterate this products array. And the way that we do that is as follows. We put these curly braces, like we were doing before, to place the variable into the actual tag itself. And I'm going to put products.map. .map. And I'm going to put in brackets here product. And I'm going to go like this. I'm going to put an arrow, and I'm going to put li products. Now let me explain each of these different components. So product.map is the way that we loop through the products array. So we're going to map this array of products into individual variables, which I am calling product based on this piece here. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a list element, and that list element is going to contain the product from the iteration. The result of this is that we're going to have three different list elements, one for laptop, one for desktop, and one for keyboard. So it's just going to iterate through our whole list of objects, and it's going to place them where they need to be based on that mapping. So let me just put on a semicolon here, since we should end this return with one. And let's go back over to our code and have a look. You can see that we have the products header, as well as the three list items here: laptop, desktop, and keyboard. So you can see that what this has done is it's really just printed out the contents of this list. And this list can really contain any number of different objects in it, and they will all print out based on this loop. So that's really the general idea of having arrays inside of our data, right? So what this lets us do is it lets us print out, any list of values that we may have. This is particularly useful if we send a request for data from the node server. Say the node server returns to us a list of values, we can then print out that list of values using this map syntax. So that's sort of the way that we're generally going to be using this. Is if we have data that comes from a server and we get a list of values from that server, we can go through and we can iterate through that list, and we can place those values where they need to be. So that's the general idea of when we would actually use these arrays and these array mappings. So that's really everything that I wanted to discuss in this video. Thank you for watching. In the next video, we'll continue to discuss some further React components that we can work with in our application.